boogie, boy, is it a sight? I swing my hips from left to right. A groovy on me just right. It's the mini hunne beach bum boogie. Oh, what a sight.
Mornings are better with Pacific Mornings.
Great, Marlo. All right, it's 29 minutes past 8 o'clock. Now, Dr. Susan Perry and I were just jiving to the music, Marlo. All right. Okay, now, New Zealand's free bowel cancer screening program is continuing to save lives and has now detected over 2,000 cancers. Bowel cancer is this country's second most common cause of death from cancer, and finding it early gives people a much greater likelihood of survival. Joining us live to speak more on the matter is the National Bowel Screening Program Clinical Director, Dr. Susan Perry. And with that, we say good morning and welcome to the show, Dr. Perry.
Good morning and welcome. Well, lovely to talk to you again.
Likewise. Now, let's start from the beginning. For those who aren't aware, can you tell us what the free bowel cancer screening program's about?
Well, because bowel cancer is a big problem in New Zealand and it can affect anybody, including Pacific peoples, and it often presents at an advanced stage, the bowel screening program is there to find it early and save your life.
The program's detected over 2,000 cancers. Prior to the program, how would people have generally found out they had cancer?
Well, I worked as a gastroenterology consultant at Counties Manukau for 18 years. And I diagnosed quite a few patients with bowel cancer, and it's usually because they had symptoms. They thought something was wrong with their tummy. The bowels weren't working quite the same. They'd noticed some bleeding. They're having a bit of pain in the lower tummy after eating. But the problem is the bowel's quite a big organ. And the cancer has to grow to quite a big size before it causes those symptoms. So when I was diagnosing people, I might find the cancer at colonoscopy because they've been referred by their doctor, but it's a bit late. It's not localized. And so that's why I became passionate about bowel screening.
Now, is cancer more curable if detected at an earlier stage?
Absolutely. And if there's one message you take from this radio station, from this, interview, is that bowel cancer develops over a number of years. And it starts very slowly from a little outgrowth or a polyp, and it grows. So it doesn't cause any trouble when it's like that. But the bowel screening test can find it early. And if it's found early, you've got a very good chance of being cured.
Dr. Perry, we hear that the program has led to hundreds of people having precancerous polyps removed. Can you elaborate?
Yeah, so what I just talked about before is that cancer develops over a number of years from these little polyps or outgrowths from the bowel. And if people have a positive test, from the screening program, we might find not a cancer, but we might find these polyps, big polyps, and we remove them. And it stops cancer developing. So we don't just find cancers early, we actually prevent them by taking off these bigger polyps. And most people who have a positive test and who have a bowel cancer or a big polyp, they say to us, but I had no idea. Even doctors have said they had no idea they had bowel cancer when they've had a positive test and they've gone on to have the follow-on investigation of colonoscopy. So if doctors don't know they've got bowel cancer, neither will anybody else. So it's really important you do this test.
That's right. And can you explain the process of bowel screening? Because apparently you can do it at home.
Absolutely. Now sometimes people get a bit icky about poos and bowels and all that sort of stuff. And particularly if you're a bit older in the age range, you'd be a little bit modest. You don't want to talk about it. But if you want to stay around for your family, The answer is you need to get over that. And I'm holding up this little stick if people are on Facebook. It's a tiny little test. You just undo it, rub a little bit over the top of the poo, put it back in, and send it away. It's easy to do in your own home. But the problem is people don't realize that this test can save your life. So if you get it, what do you do with it? You put it on the kitchen bench. You're too busy. The grandchildren want something to eat. They've just come in from school. You know, you just put it, oh, you get this little kit and you think, oh, I'll do it another time. And you don't. You stick it, but it could save your life. So if you get it in the post, please do it.
Now, the program's for people who have no symptoms of bowel cancer, and it's free for those who are aged 60 to 74. Can you tell us what those symptoms are?
Yeah, so some of the things I talked about before. So basically bleeding from the bottom part of your bowel, or if you notice a bit of blood on the outside of your poo, that's something that you need to check with your doctor. The other thing is most of us know when we go to the toilet to do a poo or a bowel motion, most of us know how, the pattern. But if you notice it's changed and that you haven't just got an upset tummy because you've had food poisoning or something like that, so you notice a regular change in your bowel motion, then you should talk to your doctor about it. And sometimes people will start to notice a bit of pain after eating in the lower part of their tummy that they've never had before. Those are the sorts of symptoms where you need to be seeing your doctor. Now, obviously, if people lose weight, we also want them to see their doctor. But often that can be when the cancer is quite advanced. So we prefer you to go early with those other symptoms. Don't be embarrassed. Be free. My Pacific colleagues tell me we need to get over this. You just need to talk about it in your family. It needs to become normal. Look at those advertisements that we have. We just need to stop being frightened to talk about it. And anybody who's listening, you've got all your family members, even if you're in the age range, or if you're if it's your parents or if it's your grandparents, you need to make certain they do the test. Say, have you got that test? Have you done it yet? Because it could save your life and you could be around for a lot longer for me.
Oh, excellent advice, Dr. Parry. We just want to thank you for your time this morning. It's a pleasure having you on the show, and we love hearing from you. Have a great day.
Yes, thank you so much indeed. And to all my former patients from Counties Manukau who might be listening, or their families, just remember you're part of the reason why I got into this. Thank you.
Yay, thank you. You're so welcome. Now, if you missed this interview, you can watch the full interview on our 5